Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. I film cruelty-free beauty videos, and today's video is going to be another single shadow video. In today's video, I thought it would be fun to create a palette based around the movie Soul. If you guys haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend checking it out. It's on Disney Plus. Super cute. But I decided to film a video on making this palette because I've made palettes before, like over on my Instagram, but I thought it would be fun to start bringing these over to YouTube because you guys seem to really enjoy my single shadow videos. I have such a blast making them, and I'm actually doing collaboration on this palette with my friend Jessica. Her username is Yesica over on Instagram. She creates the most gorgeous looks. Like, if you guys are not following her, definitely go check her out. So I thought it would be fun to create my little palette on camera for you guys. She really went with the more cool toned, bluey, purpley side of things within this movie. So I kind of want to sprinkle a little bit of that in my palette, but I also really want to play off of some of the warmer tones in here, like the nice browns, and there's like some beautiful orangey tones. So I'm really excited to jump into it. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do when I create a singles palette is kind of like lay all my palettes out before me so I can see what we're working with. So let's do that. Alright, you guys, here are my singles. I know you guys can't quite see all of them on camera, but with like my slightly redneck setup for how I film these overhead videos, my frame is not quite as large as I would hope it to be. So this is what we're working with. So I do have some already like pre-curated palettes out right here that I'm not 100% certain that I want to rip apart. Like this one right here is a dupe for the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette. This one over here that you guys can't quite see is the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. And then I have one like all the way over here that you can't see. That's a BH Cosmetics Naughty palette dupe. Kind of okay with tearing that one apart. I'm okay with tearing my Grinch palette apart, but the rest might be hard to part with. So we shall see where we kind of end up there. But now it's time to start building our lovely little Soul palette. So I feel like it might be easiest to start with the little like bluey purple cool tone row that I want to do. I think I'm going to make this a 12 pan palette. I feel like 12 pan palettes are really just like the sweet spot for me when I'm creating a singles palette. Anything more and I kind of get, I don't know, I'm just less picky with what I want to include, so it's not quite as fun or curated. So I'm going to grab a couple of like bluey, purpley, periwinkle shades, put them right here. We'll go through them and kind of pare down after I select. Alright guys, so here's our little selection of bluey, purpley, periwinkly shadows. I just feel like those tones were really prevalent in the movies, and even though Jessica kind of decided to go that route with her palette, like in entirety, I didn't want to exclude that from my palette because I feel really inspired by these tones and I'm just really excited about them. So I don't know if I want to swatch everything out. I'm just gonna kind of talk through my thoughts as we look at the shadows. So first thing I did was grab, well actually I was just kind of randomly grabbing shadows, but like the first shadow that I knew I wanted to include was some sort of light bluish purple like sparkly shade that I can either pop in my inner corner or use as like a topper. So I grabbed these two shades right here. This shade is called Space Baby from Terra Moons. This is a really beautiful shadow. It's one of their iridescent chameleons. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell on camera the shift of these. It's always so hard to capture, but it's got like a beautiful like purpley blue shift. Really love that shadow. And then the other one that I grabbed is also from Terra Moons. This one is actually called Snow Globe. This is not an iridescent chameleon, but it's a very like, I don't want to say loose texture, but it's more of that sparsely sparkly finish that shadows have. And it has like this beautiful blue reflect. So I'm kind of waffling between those two as to which one I want to include in my final palette, although I'm almost certain that one of them will be included, just because I feel like it's really valuable to have a shade like this in a palette because it can be so multifunctional. It can be your inner corner highlighter, it could be like a lid topper, it can really just transform the shadows in your palette. So I'm gonna set those aside. And then I was really gravitating towards these like bluish, purpley shadows right here. So I grabbed JD Glow Anomaly, I believe this is called. Such a gorgeous shadow. And then this is Kaleido Cosmetics Royalty. These are very similar, you guys. I will probably end up going with Royalty just for the sake of it being a little bit smaller. Well, actually, you know what? I already have that giant Terra Moon shadow. We'll see. If I want to cram everything into like this little palette, I'm probably going to go with the smaller options. But if I feel like parting with the bigger palette and opening up some space, maybe I'll go with the two bigger pans right here. So I'm just going to set these two aside right here as well. So I feel like I have a lot of mid-toned, well, like mid to light tone shimmery shades in here. So let's pull those out next and kind of talk through them. Okay. So right off the bat, I kind of want to get rid of this silvery shade. This is a shadow from ColourPop. It's called Beam Me Up. This was in my Lunar Beauty palette. I'm just going to throw it back in there. Alright guys, I zoomed you in a little bit. I rearranged things. I felt like you were kind of far away to see the individual singles now that we're not grabbing from all the palettes. But anyways, we've got quite a few mid-tone shimmery shades, and for me, only wanting to have one row of these like bluey tones, maybe like a row and a half. We'll see what we end up with. I feel like we could pare this down a lot, and a lot of these do look very similar. They look like almost exactly the same on my camera from where I'm sitting right here. But I feel like they kind of lean one of two ways. These two shadows lean more of like a light teal blue, while these are more of a straight up periwinkle. And I'm kind of torn as to which one I want to include. I kind of just want to pick one of each and then set them aside for now and then maybe revisit it later. I think that's a good plan. So out of the two teal shades, this first one right here is from Divina. It's part of their Exploders collection. This is from Terra Moons. This is the Little Dipper. This is part of their Pastel Chameleon collection. I have a very similar shade from Divina. I constantly get them mixed up. But it's like a blue with a very pretty like greeny, goldeny reflect to it. Really gorgeous shadow. And then this one is from M Cosmetics. I believe it's the shade called Dream Lagoon. Yeah. This is kind of an odd shadow in my opinion. I feel like it's a little bit, I don't know, just softer than I would think it would be. But something about it just like really reminds me of the Little Souls in the movie. So I kind of want to include this one, even though I feel like Little Dipper is a little bit more like sparkly special. I'm just really feeling Dream Lagoon right now. So we'll pop this one back to where it came from ish. And then between these two, are these both from Divina? No. Okay. So this is from Divina. This is called Swudge. Beautiful shade. It's kind of this like pastel blue with like this gorgeous purpley shift. Really pretty shadow. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm really digging that. And then I also grabbed this shadow from Terra Moons. This is one of my new shadows from Terra Moons. I believe it's called, this is called X-Ray. For some reason I thought it was called Atlantis. And I have a feeling this is pretty darn similar. Obviously I have a type. Yeah, these are like pretty much exactly the same. So I'm just gonna throw the Terra Moons one in there just for the sake of like playing with my new shadow a little bit more. And then I feel like from here we should start combing through the mattes that I grabbed. I wanted to include a deeper matte, so I grabbed this navy. This is hashtag It's a Boy from Sydney Grace, and then I grabbed the shadow from Terra Moons. It's called Atlantis. But I feel very conflicted as to which one I should include. I also grabbed this one. This is Sydney Grace Oasis, but I feel like this does not really match the like purpley periwinkle vibe that we're going for. So I'm going to put this one back. I think it came from here. But here are the two deeper mattes that we're working with so far. I love to have a nice deep blue in a palette. I think it provides a really fun option for kind of deepening things up that's not using a brown or a black. So I kind of am leaning towards the navy, but also I really love this shade from Terra Moon. It's really unique, but I feel like it doesn't come off as deep as I would like it to for it to be like my true deepener shade for this palette. So I think I'm going to keep both of them for now, and of course we'll pare it down later once we figure out the rest of the rows of the palette. And let's take a look at these other ones. This right here is, I believe it's called Perfect Storm. Yeah, from Sydney Grace. It's a really pretty kind of like gray blue matte shadow. I like it, But again, I don't quite think it fits with the vibe we're going for here. This definitely goes there, not that blue. And then I grabbed a couple of my Kaleido Cosmetics shadows. I love their periwinkles. I think they're so, so pretty. This is more of like a purpley pastel periwinkle shadow. This is called Altitude. Let's do a quick swatch of that right there. Really pretty, as always. And then I think this one, oh, this is called Surge. I was gonna call it Petrichor, but this is not what it's called. This is a beautiful, like, true periwinkle shadow. Really pretty. And then I also grabbed this shadow from Terra Moons. This is another one of their neon mattes. I just did a whole video of swatching that entire collection. I can link it down below if you guys are interested, but this one's called Lunar Haze. I feel like this might be a little more on track with what we're looking for. Yeah, I think Lunar Haze is the one that I'm going to keep from that bunch. Alright guys, so now we've got our blues and purples and periwinkles. I'm going to scooch these down a little bit just so we have some space to comb through the next little batch of shadows. So now from there, I kind of want to draw from the little hippie dude. I can't remember what his name is now. I'll try to pop pictures of like all the little bits of the movie that I'm talking about while I'm talking about them, in case you guys haven't watched the movie. You kind of know at least what I'm drawing inspiration from. But he is just, I mean, like, he has this incredible like boat, and it has like these tie-dye sails, and I kind of want to draw some inspiration from the tie-dye sails because it's just like a, I don't know, it's such a jarring difference from like the very calm, cool color story of the rest of like the Soul World or the Before or whatever it's called. So let me round up some of those shadows, and then once again we'll kind of talk through my choices and pare it down. Alright guys, did I nail it? Are you getting tie-dye hippie dyes right here, or hippie vibes right here? So we've got some paring down to do. I apologize, I just whacked my little camera stand that I'm using right now, so it swayed a little bit. But I definitely want to keep like this pinky tone right here. I feel like it's leaning a little bit more towards like this soul color story, like the gentle soul color story, but I really like it. I really like this green as well, and I kind of want to keep this like teal blue. Those just feel very like hippie tie-dye vibes to me. I kind of want to throw in, ooh, you know what, actually, instead of that yellow, let's grab this yellow. This is from Terra Moons. This is the shade Io. It's one of their pastel chameleons, one of my favorite shadows. I kind of want to grab that one instead of this one. This was Lemonade from Sydney Grace. And I kind of want to keep the orange, but also I kind of want to bring some like earthier, more like mustardy, soft orange tones in with this next row that we're going to go in with. And I also kind of want to keep the red. I feel very indecisive about this row. I feel like getting rid of these is a good choice because like I feel like they're too similar to the other row that we curated. And I think we're going to stick with these for now and then scooch them over so we can work on our finer row. For this row, I kind of want to just go in with some like not so basic neutral shadows. I just feel like this was like, if we're going like according to the movie, like you have the soul period with like those beautiful blues and purples, that's like the before part, then you have the tie-dye portion which is like getting rescued, and then like I feel like I want to do a row to do like the human world, and I feel like this makes no sense if you haven't seen the movie, so I'm sorry, but like go watch the movie, it's adorable, you'll love it, and then this will like all make sense. So let me grab some neutral shadows, we'll speed it up a little bit. I'm going to try to grab neutrals with a little bit of pizzazz, a little something special, and then we'll finish off this palette and make some final decisions. Okay, so here's our little band of neutrals. Right off the bat, I threw Bloodline in here from Cleona because like I'm just obsessed with it and I want to use it more. But I just feel like this doesn't really fit with the vibe that I was kind of envisioning for the top portion of this palette, so I'm gonna put this back into another palette. I kind of want to go with like an orangey warm neutral vibe, and I feel like that's kind of like boring, a little basic, but it's kind of just what I'm feeling. I also grabbed Tea Garden from ColourPop because I thought maybe like something that's softly green would be nice in this palette, but I'm kind of like deciding against that. So I kind of want to keep like this as my little top row. I don't know, you guys. I feel like it's like super basic, but I'm also just kind of digging it. This is, I always want to call it Cantaloupe from Kaleido Cosmetics because this is like the perfect color of cantaloupe. But this is the shade called Cycle from Kaleido Cosmetics. It's a beautiful like apricot cantaloupe-ish shade. This is Canary from Wannabe Cosmetics. Again, one of my favorite singles. It's like a yellowy gold with a really pretty pink shift. Isn't that fun? Okay, this shade I'm not so sure about, so I think we're gonna swatch that one last. But this, I believe, is Wildfire from Kaleido Cosmetics. It's just one of their regular shadows, not their stained glass. Really, really pretty. This one has like a bit of a green shift in the sparkles. I don't know if that's gonna catch on camera or not. And then finally, I think this is Keep Smiling from Sydney Grace, just like your average matte brown shadow. Absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like this would provide some depth that maybe this palette is lacking. I don't know, you guys, I'm just like really digging this. Let's just watch Bonfire like along these shadows to see if we want to make room for it or if we can just kick it to the curb. Yeah, no, I'm not into that. So I think we're going to get rid of Bonfire. We'll put that one back into my singles collection, and now it's time to put all of the shadows together. Are you guys ready? Are you excited? Is this video interesting, or is it just boring listening to me debate over minute details in eyeshadow? Alright, you guys, here is what our little palette looks like. Just kidding, I gotta scooch it up a little bit. We're not quite all in frame. Alright, you guys, so here is what our little palette is looking like at the moment. This is too many shadows for me. Plus, I just feel like there's way too many redundancies for me to leave it like this. So now it's time to be a little bit more cutthroat. I think immediately off the bat, I want to get rid of this like bright neon orange shadow. I just feel like with that like softer, like warm toned top layer, or not top layer, top row, that it's just too much. So now here's what like our little second row is looking like, and I'm not sure what I want to do with it from here. Let's move on to this row and make some decisions. I think I am going to try to cram it into like one of these smaller palettes. So I think I'm going to get rid of these two larger shadows that just won't fit, and we'll go with the smaller options that we discussed earlier in the video. Let me see. I think I'm going to go with this like deeper, more muted purple versus this lighter one. So we'll put that one back over here. I'm not sure if we need a navy and this like teal shade, but I feel like these just look so different on the eyes that I feel like I could keep both of them. I don't know if I necessarily need both of them, but I like both of them. I think I'm gonna get rid of this like soft, this soft like periwinkly shade from Terra Moons right here, and we're just gonna go with the one from M Cosmetics because there's just something about that shadow that just like screams soul to me. So, okay, here's what we're looking like right now. Should I just add another shadow to the top row and keep all of these other ones? Because that's also always an option. I always like say I'm shooting for a 12 pan, but if I'm like really, really itching to keep some of these shades in, I make it a bigger palette because like it's my palette. Something about this row that I really, really love and that I feel like just really embodies that like the Soul Pirates. I forgot what they're called. I've watched this movie like twice now and I can't remember what they're called still, and I really like having this navy in addition to this shadow in this bottom row right here. I feel like it really adds a lot of versatility. So maybe we need to add something to the top. What could we add that we haven't added? Let's add like a beautiful rich like reddish brown. Throw that puppy in right there. This is Gulf Coast from Sydney Grace. Beautiful, rich, warm matte brown. I really like this palette, you guys, right here. I am filming this a couple days in advance of like when I'm posting the palette on Instagram with Jess, but I think I kind of want to leave it here for now. I'm really, really pleased with how this palette has come out so far. So let me go through the shadows really quick and then we'll hop into some swatches so you guys can kind of see how all the shades play together. Alright, you guys, so first row, starting off with Lethal Cosmetics Cycle, Menagerie Cosmetics Canary, Kaleido Cosmetics Wildfire, Sydney Grace Gulf Coast, and Sydney Grace Keep Smiling. Moving on to the second row, we have Terra Moon's Sangre, Terra Moon's Spacebound, Terra Moon's Io, M Cosmetics Venice, ColourPop Bring It. This is from their Chasing Rainbows palette that I depotted. Next up in the third row, we have Sydney Grace Hashtag It's a Boy, Terra Moon's Atlantis, M Cosmetics Dream Lagoon, Kaleido Cosmetics Royalty, and Terra Moon's Snow Globe. And that completes my palette, you guys. I'll insert the swatch clip that I did right here. I mean, besides this beauty swatch is like a slow one, so you guys can kind of get a better feel for the color story. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun creating a palette with you guys on camera. If this is something that you guys want to see more of on my channel, I would be happy to do it. It brings me so much joy, and I feel like really digging into my singles has helped me so much on my no buy, so definitely let me know if this is something that you guys want to keep seeing. But that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments, have you seen Soul? Did you also love it? And please don't forget to check out Jess's look and my look on Instagram. I will have both of our accounts linked in the description box below. But I'm going to stop blabbering on for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!